All right,
Okay.
go ahead. Oh, before you do that, do me a favor. To the right side of your LinkedIn screen, you're going to see a box that says notify your network, and you're going to see a green button that says yes next to it.
I don't see that. Oh,
You're
yes, I
looking
do.
right at it. Yeah, there you go, right there. Click that yes. Just click on the yes and then move it to no. Yeah. So what that is that when you're making changes in your LinkedIn profile, you're turning off any changes that are made so they don't get sent out to your connections.
Okay.
You want to just
Wow.
like leave that to no, and then you can turn it back to yes once we're done.
So I didn't know that. I mean, so if I'm working on my updating my LinkedIn profile and I got yes on that, that's going out to all my connections.
Yeah. Anytime
Uh,
you make a change in your
mhm.
LinkedIn profile, and you're typing, you're adding, removing, changing things, that any kind of change you make in your profile, if that button is on yes, it sends it out to all your connections.
Yeah.
So you want to turn it off to no, which is again, just a small little tip, some tips that, and this is like for about 30, 45 minutes. I'm going to give you a couple of ideas on some things that you can do, but I just want to learn a little bit about your background first.
Well, I would think sometimes having that on lets people know that something's happening on your profile, and that can be a positive thing.
Yes, that could be. Yeah. And so it's a choice.
Hmm.
I keep mine always on yes, but when I'm doing LinkedIn workshops or I'm working privately with a client,
Right.
I turn it off to no because I'm making a lot of changes. So, and I'm talking about any little change that's made, it keeps pinging your network. So totally your choice, but for the sake of this particular situation, let's just leave it to no for now.
Okay, good. Thank
But
you.
you're thinking in the right direction, and that's definitely a good thing. That's how I tell people always to think. You always want your face in front of them, so you never know what they're going to say because you can't get to everybody. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. Tell me a little bit just about your background when it comes to profession, career.
Okay. I started at Lake Jackson, Freeport, with Dow Chemical. I worked there for 21 years. Uh, I really liked that opportunity because I started out in
Do me a
analytical
favor,
chemistry.
scroll down to your experience on your LinkedIn profile so I can look at this while you're telling me.
Okay, I've eliminated some of my Dow Chemical
Okay.
stuff.
Go up a little bit. There we go. Leave it right there. Perfect.
Yeah. So I've eliminated my Dow Chemical, but at Dow, I started out 5 years in analytical. Then I went to an organization called Core Nitrogen Research, and I did some work with some of the plants there. And then they put me in a group to create new products. So I got a bunch of patents on a bunch of new products. And then Dow went through this phase where they started consolidating because when I joined Dow, there were 10,000 employees. When I left, there were 3,000. So what happened was a lot of the departments started shrinking and some of them got eliminated. And,
Okay.
and my research and development department got eliminated. And so then I went to polyethylene and I did rheology there.
Okay.
Uh, I could see that was there were two groups doing rheology, so I thought that was a conflict, and so I moved on to epoxy resins, and I did waterborne epoxy resins there. Try to sell my coating to Glidden for can coatings, and then I had a technician. We set up a lab. We did testing as well as synthesis. Then I moved next door, did polyesters. I had the first commercial polyester, and that was not a fit with Dow. So then I moved to where did I go from there?
Schlumberger.
To urethanes, yeah.
Okay.
And
So then you left Nalco and went
I
to
left
Glidden.
Dow. I left Dow. And then I went to Nalco.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Okay. After 21 years, they retired me at 45. Okay.
Okay.
So I got a pension from that. So then I went to Nalco, which is my first experience with oil field. And I'm working with the service, and they told me to eliminate the Dow because I think I'm being discriminated because of my age. I'm 65, and so that's why we dropped the Dow. And so we're in the rest of my resume is going to be pretty much oil field. And so
Okay.
here I'm working for Nalco, and I developed a bunch of products for them. I'm very innovative, creative. I think outside the box, and then and also I'm always considering economics because I want to get my products commercialized. All these products here, I think I had 6 or 7 commercialized at Dow. I mean at Nalco, pardon me, at Nalco, and then I moved on from there to Schlumberger. That was a contract position for 6 months. And they told me I was getting paid $80,000 at that time, and they told me, well, we can hire 2 engineers out of college for $80,000. So they, then they didn't continue my contract,
Okay.
and then I had a hard time finding jobs. I guess that was kind of a recession period of time or something, and I ended up working for several small companies. One of them was Syngenta. And so I got a lot of analytical experience there. Unfortunately, they were closing that business because they had a copycat business in China, which was cheaper. So they were closing one here in Houston, and they were going to make their product in China.
Okay.
And so I helped them close that. Then I went to Emerson. I worked there for almost a year and a half, and I was one of the last ones employed. For this particular group of 3 or 4, the recession hit. They lost 33% of their business, and so I was a casualty there. Then I moved on to, I got divorced at that time. And my wife, I was looking at a job in Latexel, Texas. And my wife says, take it. Or my ex, she handed me, I had a pretty interesting week. I had an interview, and I got served. And anyway, I ended up taking this job.
Okay.
And basically there I was a manager, and I dealt with a lot of different issues. I had some employee issues. We had one lady we had to buy out because she was suing the company. And I was taking notes and involved in that. And we had a small lab, and we expanded it, colossal size. We only had 1 or 2 hoods in the first lab, and we expanded to a laboratory with 6 hoods. And so I was involved in that, and I did a lot of synthesis of a lot of oil field different chemistries. And they had a process, 4-point depressant process, and what I did was use my analytical skills and figure out 2 techniques to monitor the initial reaction, because they were exposing it to air, and those reactions told me when they were not exposing it to air.
Okay. And then you left there.
We were able to re-engineer their process, and so I sit out there with them and made sure everything was done properly so we could make a good product. And then we made 10 good batches. I invented some clay stabilizers, and then I had another product that was production messed up, and so I had to do figure out the rework, and we made it within specifications, and were able to sell it when we reworked it. Those were just, I was doing a lot of things: quality control, making stuff for sales. They were bringing in recipes, managing people, building a lab, and then doing R&D. So it was a very multifunctional job, and I really enjoyed it. But it was out there in the sticks, And then Weatherford bought us. That's the next one here.
Oh, okay.
And so I was still in Latexel at that time, and I could see that we were moved into R&D there, the 3 of us remaining. At one time I had 5, 6 people, but throughout this process, it became less and less because some of them moved into quality control analysis and other things. And so we had 4 left, pardon me. And I could see the writing on the wall that, hey, we're R&D, we're going to have to do R&D. So I started doing R&D, and I worked with a bunch of folks in Canada, and the other 3 didn't do that. They did more sitting around or supporting the plant. and as a consequence, Weatherford moved me to Spring,
Okay.
and so that's where I was, and I started doing some research in some areas that I've never worked before, but I catch on. I like going into new areas because the learning curve is steep, and I enjoy that because I'm learning so much.
Okay.
And so I worked on some fracturing stuff, consolidating sand. Also, I had the gas hydrate anti-agglomerate project from when I was at Latexo, and I needed, well, I wanted to present a paper, so I made sure that the salesman sold it, and they sold it in Canada, and we were able to add that to the paper. And so I was a big push on trying to find a market for that, which is a big problem with Lubrizol. You know, they don't know how to do that. And so then Lubrizol bought us. Weatherford needed cash. They've been trying to frack for years, and when they get contracts, they're negative, and so they always have a cash flow problem. So they sold Weatherford to Lubrizol so they could alleviate some of their cash flow problems. And so I've done some R&D there. Again, I was working on the SANAID, or the sand consolidating project, and I invented some new variations of that. And one of them was thermally stable. Again, I gave a presentation on it to SPE. And then I've been working on viscoelastic surfactants for the past year.
Okay.
And I had a group of 7 scientists, 4 of them in Ohio. 2 of them were PhDs, 2 were technicians, and then I had some PhDs in Houston, and we were all working on this project, and I coordinated it and did synthesis and did evaluation, you know. So in a nutshell, real quick, that's kind of what I've done. That's my history.
So you got laid off there?
Yes, I think it was discrimination, but, you know, they gave us a sheet with, there was some younger ones laid off too. But when you look at the R&D group we had, I was the oldest, and all the ones that are 1 to 3 years out of college, you know, they're still there except for one. You know, of course, you when you lay off, you got to lay off across the age profile so that nobody can come and sue you for discrimination.
Right.
I'm 65, and even though I was the only one presenting papers, although and my boss wanted me to, and even though I hit the best projects, and the only 2 projects left right now is mine, the VES, which they've given to another colleague. They terminated his project, and since they, you know, laid me off, they gave my project to him. And then there's another project. They just got 2 projects they're working right now.
Right.
They're trying to sell R&D, and they're having a hard time doing it. But they have their goal was to sell it before December 31st. That's not going to happen. It's either going to, you know, they have prolonged it for maybe another month or 3 months, and it's fair. You know, if they're not able to sell it, they'll probably have to lay everybody off.
Right. Right. Well, I don't.
Well, it's really, you know,
like everything is about
assumption
about why you got laid off, and I mean, you know, there's a lot of companies out there hurting right now, laying off, having to eliminate headcount. So especially if they're selling, they've got to eliminate. You become a commodity, not a person anymore, and they're just trying to eliminate what they can to make them look more attractive to sell. And
Right.
it sounds like there was a huge push, but that's all I'm at. It's irrelevant right now. When did you get laid off in 2016?
December 1st.
Okay, so it's just recent. So go all the way up to the top of your profile. Okay, so tell me, I guess, what you use LinkedIn for.
What did I usually do?
What do you use LinkedIn for you?
I'm not following you.
What are you using? What is the purpose of for you on why you're using LinkedIn?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, historically, Larissa introduced me to LinkedIn when I was working down here for Emerson.
Okay.
Which is that insurance company. And so I, you know, put some stuff into it, put some of my resume into it, and then I got laid off. and I couldn't find a job for 6 months.
Right.
That's kind of what happens in my industry. And so I built my LinkedIn up, and when 6 months hit, I had 2 interviews, and one of them was the job at Latexo, and I got it. And the other company, I went in there and saw them, and they were disorganized. And for example, their head boss, he had to go home because somebody was, coming in to fix something at his house. And so then they kind of let me lie for about 2 weeks, and then they called me back. But heck, I had money in my pocket coming from Latexo, so I took that job,
So did you get it? Did you get the job?
Like 2 jobs, in that 6-month period.
So did you get the job? Did you get the job, Dwayne, from LinkedIn? Finding it on LinkedIn?
What happened was a headhunter found it on LinkedIn.
Okay, good. Perfect. So so you're saying the key things. And so here's a little bit about LinkedIn and myself. I'm an executive recruiter first. I have an executive recruiting business, and I have for 17 years. I specialize mainly in upstream oil and gas, between Calgary and Houston. I am Canadian, but I live in Houston.
Yes.
I've always used LinkedIn as my preferred tool for my recruiting business since 2004. So I am what is considered a super user, and I use it 8 to 10 hours a day. This is how I make my money in my recruiting business. Mm-hmm. I have an extension of my business where I am a LinkedIn consultant. So what I do with that is I actually facilitate and host public workshops, corporate group workshops, and then I work individually with individuals that are job seekers, business owners, sole proprietors, or people who've got corporate job by day, business by night, and I teach them via LinkedIn from my experience of success using LinkedIn on how to get visible and how to properly connect and how to get anything you want. So what I do is I use my daily, day-to-day LinkedIn tips, and I teach people how to do what I do, because I can't find everybody a job. You have no idea. I get 300 to 500 resumes a day. I can't find everyone a job. And then when the oil and gas took a downturn 2 years ago, it affected my business too. Mm-hmm. And I was actually with my business coach, and she had suggested that I start teaching people how to use LinkedIn, especially job seekers, because I'm going to teach you how to do what I do. And why not teach you how to fish and cook your own dinner rather than me doing it for you? It's selective for me because I specialize in a specific niche. But if I could give you ideas on LinkedIn that you might want to consider, this is why I record these calls, because you will get a copy of the link so you can go back and reference it, and it gives you some ideas. But I always do it from the form this way, either in person or via video as a complimentary trial with me, so that you kind of can. It's kind of going to the gym and getting your assessment from the personal trainer the first time you show up. And then basically from there, you decide kind of how you want to proceed. So a couple of things that come to mind for me when it comes to finding a job. So the LinkedIn workshops I've been doing and working privately with clients and corporate companies, I've been doing that for 2 years in addition to my recruiting business. And figured since Larissa has been a client of mine on both sides, I figured, of course, I'm going to talk to you and try and help you the best I can, So, I don't guarantee any results because results vary per user. Everything is it's kind of like, again, going to the gym. The personal trainer has now shown you and told you some of the things that you need to do. You have to go do it yourself to get the results. I can't do it for you. Now, I have an idea of what your background is right now. And I can always keep that in the back of my mind from a recruiting standpoint. But from LinkedIn, I would like to show you a couple of things to consider. And I'm noticing on your profile, and everything is a matter of opinion. There is no right or wrong way to use LinkedIn. This is just opinion on what works for me and what I feel that if you tried, it would work for you as well too.
Let me make one point here, Michelle. When Lubrizol laid me off on December the 1st, they also gave us a free service. That's a resume service.
Outplacement, resume, all that, yeah.
Right, yeah. And so they helped me design my resume. We finally are pretty much, you know, to the end or the completion of that. And what we've done is shorten it so they don't realize that I'm 65. And so a lot of the verbiage I have in here as far as experience is almost the same as my resume. It's almost identical.
Well, and I was going to say that as recruiters, so let me just say this, 98% of recruiters and headhunters, they use LinkedIn to vet candidates for positions. And what they do is when a resume comes in via email or through their applicant tracking system, they'll immediately go to LinkedIn because they want to make sure that everything's matching up. So that's good that your resume matches what's going on in your LinkedIn profile, because I tell people who are in job seeker mode, make sure it matches up with what your resume says, because recruiters are looking for reasons to vet candidates out versus in. And they can
eliminate
fast and know right away.
Yeah.
And so what happens is when they scan LinkedIn, you think about it, they've got a lot of resumes coming in. They usually stop right exactly where we're sitting on the page, right underneath summary. And if they don't see what they want from a keyword standpoint, then they move on. And so everything in LinkedIn is keyword based. And that means, you know, you work in a profession, Dwayne, that is so Greek to me, but I could be a really, really good recruiter and be very effective in finding you. But what happens with recruiters is when they talk to a company or they're working internally for that company, they have a job description and they look for those keywords in that job description to match up when they're doing a keyword search. If they're using, most of them use LinkedIn as the tool. And if they can't find that in there, they pass you by. So don't ever assume from your side that, oh, people know what that is, because I don't know half the words that you're telling me what you do. I'm matching and looking for you through me typing in keywords. And that's how you pop up for me. So the summary section is probably one of your most important areas of your LinkedIn profile and job seeker status. And it should be the story and the ingredients of the specialties which you write down. But it's got 2,000 characters that you can use. Everything else has less characters. So you want to get into, and who cares how old you are? People are looking for skills, tenure, and experience. And so you want to put as much in there so that when keyword searches are done at the top of the profile there, they're able to find you and you're able to jump out. You've got a long-term history. So a couple of things that also at the top as well, right underneath your name, I teach people when I work with them privately, my clients in my workshops, that's called a ask statement, or a headline statement is what I call it. And I teach people how to ask for who they want to talk to, connect, or collaborate with, not actually what they do. Because we live in a world of title, and that is static. That does not put you into active mode. So the question I ask you as a job seeker, who does usually an R&D scientist in the oil field or oil industry, who do you usually report to? What is their title in that type of company or job that you're in? Who do you report to?
I report to, right now, when I was in Lubrizol, I was reporting to a lab manager.
Okay.
Now let me tell you, in my personal opinion, with my experience, I can easily be a lab manager. And then above the lab manager is a R&D manager. She would be head of all of R&D. I could definitely do that as well. And then above that, in Lubrizol, we have product line manager, and they're really a corporate salesperson, I think, more than anything.
What are they called? What's their job title usually?
They call it product line manager. That's
product
really
line manager. Okay.
That's an oil field description. Okay, and that's been carried over from Weatherford.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. So if you were in a room networking and you got an opportunity to stand up and you knew that the lab managers, the R&D managers, and the product line managers standing in that room, but they don't know about you. Would it be fair to say that you'd stand up and say, hi, my name is Dwayne Trebig. I am an R&D scientist, and I actually am looking to talk to R&D, lab managers, and product line managers in the oil field or a specific industry, get very specific oil, chemical, oil field type industries or companies in Houston, Texas. Would you not know that you'd probably get their attention and go, oh, that's me. That's what they would, right?
Yeah.
So that's who you're looking to connect with right now. You're looking to connect with the decision maker or the hiring contact to get in front of them to tell them what you do. So I teach people at the front, right underneath your headline statement. You can always change that, Dwayne, and you can ask for many things one at a time. Underneath there, you can actually click that pen and get rid of looking for opportunities in oil field or chemical manufacturing. And the reason why I say that is too general. If you called me as a recruiter and said, hi, my name is Dwayne Trebig. Hi, Michelle, I'm looking for an opportunity in oil field or chemical manufacturing. That doesn't tell me anything. It makes me ask you more questions, but the more specific you get on who the decision maker is that you want to talk to, collaborate, connect, or network with is exactly what you get back. It's just like ordering a pizza. If you call Pizza Hut and you say, I want a pepperoni, mushroom, extra cheese, thin crust, no sauce pizza, that's exactly what they deliver back. When it comes to your career, Dwayne, it is exactly the same thing. So it's specifically what you ask for in your job or career search is exactly what comes back when it comes to using LinkedIn as a tool. Because oil field or chemical manufacturing is a very general, you're starting your conversation, but it's not enough to get the direct hit. So would it be fair to say that you are looking to connect? Don't say opportunity. You're looking to connect with, or you can say I'm looking to collaborate with, or I'm looking to network with, because you don't know. There might be somebody you know in your network that knows those people, but it's not them. And it gets you to them, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to say, looking to connect with.
Yeah.
You can say R&D / /
I'm looking for sales too. I'm going to tell you.
Well, so we're going to say looking for to connect with R&D / lab managers. Or say take manager out. Lab / again. Product line. And you said sales as well? Sales managers?
Yes, and sales. Yeah.
/ sales managers. And what specific industry? Is it chemical oil field, or what gets specific about the industry? And we may run out of space because you only can use too many characters, and we may have to go back and shorten some of the words.
In oil field.
Get specific to oil field because oil field is big.
Well, I mean.
Is it chemical oil field? Is it frac oil field you want? Is it production oil field? Is it upstream, midstream, downstream? What is it?
Production. What is production
is upstream. It's really like, do you want to get specific about, if you could have your wish list, what type of oil field would you like to be an R&D scientist, lab manager?
I'd rather be in production upstream.
Okay, then say in upstream production. I don't know, we may run out of space, but let's see. In Houston, Texas, are you willing? Is it just Texas or is it just Texas, or just Houston you want the job in?
I would do it in Houston, East Texas, and in Dallas.
Okay, put Texas then. Just put Texas in Texas.
Okay. I just can't go to West Texas.
That's fine. Hit save.
Okay. See, one of the issues I have, let me just square up with you, is I got 3 homes right now. when I was in Latexo, I got married a second time. So she has a home and we're trying to sell it.
Okay, that's
Her
fine.
her home is in a suburb of Tyler, and it's on Lake Palestine. So it's a pretty good chance that it'll sell first. I've been trying to sell the home that she and I moved to in Elkhart, which was near Latexo, and it's a $200,000 home. And if you look in the country, and it's a very nice home, and the people out there got no money, And so I'm having a hard time selling that house.
Okay, that's fine. Well, we're just putting out your ask on what you in what you want in Texas. So look at how much more. I call that's the toppings on your pizza right there. That's right underneath your name. Doesn't that look a little bit more meatier?
Excuse me?
Doesn't that look more meatier? It looks more like full of substance and ingredients in there. You're very specific right there on who you want to talk to.
I agree.
So what you do now you go look for those people on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do is and I can see to the left of your screen that you're doing some searches and you're have looked at Huntsman Chemical quite a few times at some positions in there. You can go into that jobs status at the top and start typing in these words right here.
Job status, where is that at?
The very top of your profile. Very top. And it's
right there.
Section says jobs.
I see it.
Click on jobs. Yeah. Have you used this section?
I don't think so.
No, because this is where all the jobs are posted. So now what you do, look at underneath all there.
Mm-hmm.
Those are positions posted. Research scientist through a staffing firm, data scientist. It gets into some details. Some of them are going to be a match, but what you can do is you go to the very, very top. Now, you can also download the LinkedIn Job Seeker app on your phone.
Yeah, I got it there.
Customize the type of job that you're looking for. But go up to the top where it says job title, keyword, or company name. There's a box at the very, very top there.
Okay, I was writing down something. You said something now?
No. Go down. One more down. Right there. Nope. Right down. That white box underneath. Right there. That's where you search job title. So why don't you type in... these are all keywords now. It can be a job title, keyword, company name. I always say write down 5 company names that you want to work for.
Okay, Huntsman is one, but I've already applied.
Give me one.
Huh? I'm sorry?
Give me one company name that you would like to work for.
Hang on. Just to name one, Kimco, Sasol.
Okay,
Sasol.
Type in Sasol in there.
That's one of the job descriptions I'm looking at right now.
Okay, click Find Jobs. You got to remember, you have to play with keywords. So anything that Sasol has posted in LinkedIn, they're right there under company name. So now you can start to look.
Right. I see the third one is one I'm looking at was looking at before we hit this
Did you get this through LinkedIn? Where did you find out about it before you knew this?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because it's on LinkedIn.
I got several search programs like Indeed and stuff like that.
Okay. So click on Market Development or Manager Technical Services. Would that be you as well?
Right. Manager Technical Service, Market Development, maybe planning leader, intermediates, and surfactants.
Okay, so I want to show you something. Now as a recruiter, I'm thinking if I'm going after this business. Click on Manager Technical Services, the title. Okay, do you notice to the right, there's a person's name by the name of Lauren Boyd.
Right.
Did you notice that she's the recruiter? She's posted
Yes.
this job?
Yes.
Okay. So to me, okay, you can reply. And it tells you underneath there how many applicants have applied. You're in the top 25%. It gives all the skill sets. You got to remember, this is what recruiters are looking for in your profile. Make sure, like it says, you have 6 out of the 10 top skills among others. They have other skill sets in there that you don't match. It's not highlighted, called project manager, management, process engineering, continuous improvement. If you have those skills, you need to go back into your profile and add those skills. Because remember, recruiters look for keywords in your profile that match up their job.
Yeah.
Now, you could take it even further and you could click on Lauren Boyd's profile.
Right.
Okay. Now, go up.
I have.
Click
Okay.
on her name. Click on her picture. Well, yeah, I'll let you go in there. Okay. All right. So I just kind of check her out to say, oh, she's been there for 3 years. Go down. I want to see what else she's done. I just kind of look at her a little bit to see. And do you notice also over to the right side, right underneath your picture, do you see that there's other people that work at Sasol? And one of the titles says now hiring. Another says human resource representative. Like, you're looking for people who can get you in the door. Here's another one, Carla Wiggins, HR at Sasol. We are now hiring. But this particular recruiter is the one who's handling the resumes that come in. Now,
Who is? Which one?
this person, you're in her profile right now.
Lauren Boyd.
She's
Okay.
the one that's handling this. Now, you don't want to send her an email. You want to get really, really brave. You write her name down, what her title is, the job description. You go to all those job descriptions. Now, click on where the logo next to her experience, where it says Sasol. Go across, click on that logo. I always go to the logo to see, what is this type of company? What do they do? Click on it and go inside there. Now what this has done is it's brought you actually to their business page, right? And the business page outlines everything that's going on with Sasol. Then what I try to do is I try to find, go to the top, go to the very top. I'm trying to find their website. It also, do you notice where it says 10, you have 10 connections actually that work for Sasol that are connections that are connected to you in LinkedIn?
Yes, Paul Filler, I know very well.
Right. So you want to also try the people that you know within there to help get your resume and say, could you take this resume to whatever her name is? She's the recruiter handling the job. Or what you could do, click on where it says, see underneath about, see where it says about us and you have the picture of the car? Click right underneath there that says show details. Nope. No. Go up. Go back up. Oh. No. Go back to the Sasol. Yeah. Okay. See where, no. Go up. Just slow down for a sec. Okay. See where it says about us?
Yeah.
Okay. Underneath there, it says show details. Click on that.
Right.
Okay. Go down and go to their website at the bottom there where it says website. Click on website. Yep. And now it's going to take you to their website. This is what I do as a recruiter to get attention from the person or the decision maker for this job. I go after stuff like this way as well. Now, once you get in their website, now you can go look for their phone number in Houston. Usually it's in the About Us section, or you've kind of got to go look around. But once you find their phone number, you can call, and you're usually going to get a main receptionist, or it's going to ask you the automatic dialer. Write in the last name of the person, 4 letters of the person's last name, da-da-da-da-da. You want to find the Houston office, and then you ask to speak to that girl. Now, more than likely, recruiters don't pick up their phone. You're going to get a voicemail, and you're going to leave her a voicemail, and you're going to say, my name is Dwayne Trebig. Actually, I saw your posting on LinkedIn and she may be handling other jobs as well. You got to go into all those jobs to check. And I saw that you actually posted for the technical service manager, market development manager. And I've actually submitted my resume, and I'd like to bring my name to the top of the pile by leaving you a voice message. Would love to have a chat with you, or please look out for my resume. So then she automatically goes in and looks for your resume.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to show you another way, Dwayne,
So
of standing
is
out.
that telephone number, the head office, or?
You've got to find the Houston office. See down here where it says links, where it says contact us at the very, very bottom.
I'm looking,
Links, and then it says underneath. So it says head office, go across. You see the word links at the very, very bottom.
I'm at the very
Right there,
bottom.
contact us. Right there, right there. Click on that.
There. Okay.
So I go look to find the Houston office phone number. Okay, It tells you the head office, South Africa, careers, no, okay. Can't find that. About us, store locator. So if I can't find it this way, I'll go and Google it. Sasol, Houston, Texas phone number. And
Yeah, it might be Louisiana. I don't know. But I know that, like Paul Filler works out of Houston,
well, then I would go with your connections as well. But don't, you can send him an private email if he's already a message on email. But, call and ask for him. Or call and ask, but that recruiter's the one that's generating the resume. She's the closest person to moving it to actually the hiring manager. But if you know people internally, go to them as well.
Right. I do some of that, yeah.
Don't send them an email. When it comes to job seeking, you have to pick up the phone and call.
Okay.
You've got to call them, even if you're going to get voice message and leave a message. But you want to do that for this recruiter. This recruiter, it says she's in Houston because that's what her profile said.
Let's see what media.
No, media will give you. You're looking for the locations of the offices. So you could just go in and Google it. Go to google.com, type in the word Sasol, Houston, Texas phone number, and then find it that way as well. But I'm showing you the chain that I go through in order to find somebody that I can talk to that's a decision maker or at least has access to my resume.
Yeah.
So it's about a search and find, but it takes you from one page to another page to another page. And this is what I do in my workshops. The workshops, I just give you ideas and I go through the top 10 things you need to know about your LinkedIn profile. But I'm putting my hat on as a job seeker like you. But I know the tricks as a recruiter, what I have to do to go find it. I have to do this to find business as well.
You're going a level above me because, what I was doing is I was going to the human resources person.
Not all the time.
Under
Sometimes
contact.
they are. Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, under contact. Sometimes they'll leave their email and their phone number. Now, then I would take their email and I would send them my cover letter and resume.
Right, you can do that, but human resources only push paper, and they actually are the people that will give you, like, they're not the full ideal contact. The ideal contact is the hiring manager.
Right.
That's who you want to get to have that, because they're going to talk that. Remember what I said, HR recruiters, they don't really know what an R&D scientist is. They match things up by keywords. Some of them may understand it. It's the hiring contact that understands that language. And if you can get a hold of someone who's a connection in your LinkedIn profile, I suggest you talk to them, because sometimes companies have internal employee referral programs. So that if they refer a resume to someone for that job, they get the job, they get paid an incentive for that.
Yeah.
Not all companies have that. Some of them, but I always say utilize who you know first, then go to the contact. But I'm showing you different ways to consider to kind of get in. But you want to go looking by keyword search in your LinkedIn profile for those specific keyword titles and get their people's names to pop up. It's got to be so you can get a hold of someone through a company name, through a job title, or an individual name. And it takes you down that road. Yeah.
Now, let's go back. Where were we on Sasol here?
You want to get out. You want to get back to your LinkedIn page where it's to the get into LinkedIn itself. You can just keep arrowing back. There you go.
I wanted the list of the ladies on the right.
Okay. Well, you have to go back. Go back one more.
Okay, I got to go back one more. Okay.
There she is right there. And see, you know,
So out of this list
she's
here, Lauren Boyd, is she the one, or is Patricia Lowry? Or
no, this person here is the one that specifically has posted that job that we clicked on.
okay, right.
So you go back into each job. Not every job is going to have the person who posted it.
Okay.
But I'm just showing you some other people here that work at Sasol also have things that are going on about hiring. So go back one more. Go to the job page where we were at.
Right,
Okay.
there's Lauren Boyd.
So see, you see right there, she's the one that's actually, and she's actually a second level connection to you. So she knows somebody that you know. See the second next to her name there?
Right.
She's a second level connection to you. So somebody is one connection away from introducing you to her.
Yeah.
So go back one. Okay, click on Market Development Manager, Oil and Gas Chemicals. Okay, now look to the right of that job. Who's the person's name?
Right.
And it's the exact same thing. Look for that first, because when you're making phone calls, you can call and ask for that person.
Right.
But I'm just giving you an idea, but it also says 10 connections work there. Start with your 10 connections. Send every one of them a message. That means they're already connected. Hey, I saw this job. Copy and paste this job's link. Tell them that, or a couple of them, and say, I'm actually got laid off December 1st. I need your help. I saw that Sasol is looking to hire. Give them the links of all the different jobs hiring. I'd love your help if you can get my resume to the right person. That's what you can ask them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got, as I say, start with who you know. Ask them for their help.
Yeah. Well, you have to kind of be concerned about where these people you're asking are in the tree. What I mean is, if I'm asking for a job above them, they might not like that.
Okay, so here's what I'm
If
going to
I
say.
ask them for a job that's below them, then they would probably like that more.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to say, Dwayne. What if you could just remove all of that story and all the reasons why you should not contact them, and just contact them with just like however they respond is how they respond. You're already kind of putting your thoughts into how they're going to respond to you.
Yeah.
You just have to ask. That's it,
Right.
period. And let it happen the way it needs to happen. So the more you ask, the more you create activity, the more results come back. You would be surprised, because of the ask statement that I put up in my LinkedIn profile underneath my name, how many times from my connections that they just send me randomly a message and say, hey, I saw that you're looking to connect with sales professionals in petroleum and reserve software in Houston and Calgary. You might want to contact this person. Here's their name and number. People want to help, Dwayne.
Mm-hmm. I know
But
that.
let them choose how they do it. Don't assume, just ask.
Right.
Period.
Okay.
Just ask.
Okay.
So our time is up. I'm going to turn off the recording.